Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Great to have you guys here again. For all of you who are joining us new, well, we're a channel all about investments, and we invest in the most important thing, which is ourselves. So we invest in things like our health, our mental health, physical health, and our appearance as well. So talking about appearance, let's go into this next item that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. It's something that a friend of mine was conversating with me with a couple of days ago, and it is basically that old money look. And the key things that I think are important to attain that key money look. Now, within the conversation, we got to a point where we were talking and we decided that there are actually 5 key components, that I think are important for this kind of look. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of others. If there's anything else that you guys want to discuss, please let us know in the comments below. But we're going to start off with these 5. And the first one of them 5 is having a great coat. And having a great coat is really important because this is the first item that a lot of people will see when they come into contact with you or from a distance. And creating a great silhouette from having a great coat is really important, and it gives off that first appearance look of whether you know how to dress, how things drape on you, and then you get sort of categorized. Not that it's a good thing to judge people, to be honest, but people do categorize you and put you into certain boxes, shall we say, when they first see you. And seeing your coat is the thing that they will see first of all. It's really important to get this right. We're talking about coats. We need to have something that's quality, obviously, made of natural materials, drapes well and ages well. These are things that we always talk about on this program because I think it's really, really important that you stick to quality build, quality craftsmanship, and quality materials that are used, because these are things that you want to get longevity out of. You want to buy something, purchase something that looks good now and tomorrow and the day after as well, and fits you well too. And the importance about buying natural materials and good quality materials is they will drape on your body well. And the more they drape on your body, the more you wear them, they take on a new shape, and that shape is your shape, specific to you. And that's really important, in my view, especially for the aesthetic of that old money look. Now, talking about coats, let's look at a couple that I've got put aside for you here. Okay, so the first one I wanted to show you is this raglan coat here. This is by Cavour. This is a piece that I've just recently purchased myself, actually. I think it's a lovely, lovely piece, and it drapes really well on the body. As you can see, it's got that nice relaxed look. And when you want to go for something that is the look that we're talking about, which is the old money aesthetic, then something like this is, I think, great. Number 2 I've got here is a chestnut overcoat. This is by Cordings. Cordings have been doing this for a very, very long time. Anybody who's visited the Cordings store, I'm sure you know it oozes that feel of old money. So you can see that this, again, a beautiful coat, very well structured, well made, will give you many years of wear. And then the next one is a herringbone Harris tweed by Walker and Slater. Again, lovely coat, double-breasted, drapes really well, will give you many, many years of wear, being Harris tweed as well. The one after that, I've gone with a navy overcoat. This is by Berg & Berg. Again, if you know Berg & Berg, you know everything they do is quality. Again, you will get many years of wear out of it. Natural materials. This is a classic overcoat, and like I say, it automatically oozes that look that we're after, which is the old money look. And the important thing about having these coats, again, is, I have to say, is you've got to make sure that they fit right. Not too tight, not overly sized. I noticed that, the current fashion trends, that there is this oversized look going on. But we don't want to go with that oversized look, and we don't want to go too narrow as well. So we want that classic silhouette, that classic look, which just brings in the shape of your body as well, just slightly. And obviously, as you walk, you want that natural flow as well. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, I'd like to talk to you guys about is tailoring. I keep saying I'm going to do a program on this and talk about it more in depth, but the first thing about tailoring, right? A suit or a blazer or a sports coat has to fit you well, you know, because if it doesn't, people will automatically be able to tell that that item doesn't look right on you, and if it doesn't look right on you, it doesn't have that old money look about it, right? If you think about people like King Charles, say, for example, and the way he dresses, some of his suits he's had for years. Yes, they are all bespoke, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're made by Anderson and Shepherd generally, or Gibbs and Hawkes, but I could be wrong. If anybody does know for sure, please let me know. What you'll find is the likes of King Charles and people in that category who are wearing these types of suits. They've been wearing them for years, and they'll send them back to the tailor for repairs and things like that, and it'll come back to them again. And as you can see, when he's wearing his suits, is basically they are classic cut, and they drape on his body really well, and he gets many years wear out of them. So looking at things like this, I'm going to give you a couple of examples that I've just put aside for you here. Let's have a look. Okay, so the first one I've got, as we were talking about Gibbs and Hawkes, is a navy blazer. Yeah, so this is obviously traditional British Navy is the origins of this jacket. And as you can see, this, I think, if you're going for that look, which is that old money look, this is an essential piece in the wardrobe. The next one I've got is a Glencheck brown sports jacket by Cavor. You know, the likes of this jacket, again, uses that sophisticated, relaxed look. It gives off that vibe of old money without trying too hard. And the last one I've got is this tweed sports jacket by House of Brewer. Great price. I think this is only like £299 or something like that, but I think that's a brilliant price. Something that looks great as well. Natural materials. A company that's been doing this for a long time, and you'll get many years wear out of it. As you can see, it drapes really well on the model, and like I say, this again uses that country look, that old money look, that old money aesthetic that we're after. Right. And then number 3 I wanted to talk to you guys about is knitwear. I've talked many times about knitwear on different episodes, but again, I have to like drill this in. Basically, if you want to go for that aesthetic of old money, you've got to have unbranded quality pieces of knitwear. You really do. I think to be able to layer knitwear over shirts and things like that, it gives off that aesthetic of old money. Laying it under what we were talking about before, like them sports coats and sports jackets and things like that, again uses that old money aesthetic, I believe, because it comes across as somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's wearing things that are structured well to the body, and then basically it looks like you're not trying too hard. So with knitwear, it's the same thing, same sorts of principles again. You want quality materials, something that fits you well, and something that isn't overly, you know, it's not branded or anything like that. Yeah. But what I would recommend is what you can do if you think about the old money aesthetics, you can bring in some color here. So you want to bring in some brighter colors, some yellows, some greens, some, you know, electric blues, anything like that. You can actually do it if that works with your personality, if that's who you are. That's not a problem, because you'll find this quite common within that kind of look. I mean, a perfect example would be Ralph Lauren. If you look at the Ralph Lauren 2026 fashion show, you'd find that, you know, there's pops of color here and there when he does his looks. So I think that's really important. So talking about these pieces of knitwear, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of knitwear that I've been looking at. So this crew neck cashmere is by Johnson's of Elgin. Again, quality piece, looks lovely. We'll have it for years. Be careful of moths, because obviously moths, as I'm sure you're aware, love these kinds of things. So yeah, pack it well when you're not wearing it. But again, yeah, it's a beautiful piece, and you know, they do this in a range of colors. So you want something a little bit brighter, a little bit sharper, then no problem, put it in. Then next one I've got here is a roll neck sweater. This is by Berg & Berg. Again, I love things like this, especially in this time of year when it's chilly. Natural materials feel great on. And then again, it looks like you're not trying too hard, and it gives that great aesthetic of old money. And also you can quite comfortably put a blazer or a sports jacket over this, not a problem. So that's the knitwear I wanted to talk to you guys about. And then the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is the number 4 on the list, is basically it's about not following fashion. So don't follow fashion, because I find that if you're especially going for a look kind of like this is something that's got to be natural to you. It's got to become part of you, because if it doesn't, you stick out like a sore thumb and people will be able to see it from a distance. Yeah. So for something to become part of you and to be natural way of you dressing, you've got to do it consistently. Yeah. And you can't keep chopping and changing, going to, oh, this is the in look for this season, or that's the in look for that season. Oh, 2026 is talking about such and such. No, you can't do that. Old money is old money, because they have that kind of flair of like, I don't really care about what's happening in fashion. This is for me comfortable, and this is for me stylish. And because of that comfort, what you'll find is you will automatically ooze that confidence as well. So that's really important in the old money aesthetics, is the confidence that comes off of on your own about your own personal appearance. So the fact that you're not following fashion trends and you're not like you're checking out mood boards constantly to see like what's in and what's not, and you're just being able to go into your wardrobe, put something together, walk out, and you know it works. That's really, really important for that old money aesthetic. This is not to say that you shouldn't incorporate fashions or anything like that. You know, I think, you know, even when you're doing looks which are old money looks, for example, you can still incorporate little bits of fashion, incorporate little things in, but without going a whole hog and all of a sudden changing your whole wardrobe and things like that. Because like I say, you're never going to be able to feel comfortable. You're never going to be able to develop your own personal style. You're never going to be able to, personally, I think you won't feel yourself as well, because you're constantly chasing something else and somebody else, if you know what I mean. So I think that's the key point to take on board there. And number 5, again, with something that we've talked about before, but I need to bring it in here, is having a good mechanical watch, guys. Having a good mechanical watch, I think, is really important, especially for this kind of look again. And I think with this kind of look, you don't want anything that's bulky. You want something that's classy, fairly small-faced, and looks basically just will stand the test of time. Basically, that's what you want. And I've put a couple of watches together here that I think work really well. Again, the range and the price ranges, it just depends on what you want to spend, what your personal budget is. You've seen some watches out there for hundreds of thousands of pounds. I mean, you know, you don't have to go there, but you can, you know, a few £100 or a few $100, you can get a watch that looks pretty good. But I'm going to put a few examples up here for you that I think really ooze that old money aesthetic. So number 1 is the Jaja Lecoultre Reverso. I'm a big fan of this watch. I don't own one myself currently, but this is the next one on my list. So one of these days, when I hit my personal goal, I'll be purchasing one of these. I think it's a beautiful watch. Obviously, it has the history as well. The history itself oozes old money, because it's a polo watch. If anybody knows anything about this watch, basically you understand that it's the Reverso, because when people were playing polo, they wanted the watch that didn't get damaged, so they were able to flip the case. So that's the history behind it. And the second watch I wanted to show you is the Cartier Tank. So this is the Tank Americana. Now, with the Tank, I find that it's the really in things. The Cartier at the moment is seen a big resurgence, and a lot of people are buying Cartier tanks. I've really noticed this. I've been a big fan of them always anyway, but I think when it comes to picking a watch, a tank or a square-shaped watch such as this, I have edged towards the Jaja Lecoultre Reverso. That's for me. That's for my personal opinion, my personal choice. If you prefer something like this, then, you know, great. Again, buying watches, it's a very personal thing. Buy something that works for you and works for your style, and that you obviously love. Then also, what I love is, as anybody that knows me knows, that is, I love vintage watches. I love watches that have aged a bit. I've got a little patina in it, and a little bit of creaminess, you know, and a little few warm marks and things. And for that reason, I've put this vintage Rolex Day Date up here as well. I love a Day Date. I think it's a really classy watch. It goes through cycles of popularity, where it's really popular, then it's not, and so on. They are fairly expensive, but this is a vintage one, and I think it looks beautiful and oozes that old money aesthetic. Then something that's a little bit more price conscious, we've got the Kurono Tokyo Sensu. This again is a great watch, really well made. Again, I've mentioned this before, but anything the Japanese tend to make, they just make quality. So I think this is a great looking watch. It's got a little bit of dandiness with a little bit of flair, a little bit of color in there. But, you know, again, I think it can ooze that old money aesthetic too. Right. And then lastly, I wanted to show you this Seiko Dolce. The Seiko Dolce, again, price-wise, fantastic. It uses that look that you're after, which is the old money aesthetic. And if anybody's in the market and in that kind of budget, this is a great watch to look out for. There are plenty of other watches. We just haven't got time to list them all. These are just a few that I've just picked off the top of my head, basically. So they're great to look at. But again, I think, for me personally, I think a vintage watch oozes a little bit of that, you know, worn-in kind of aesthetic that you want for that old money look. So if you can find something that suits your budget, suits your style that you're really into, and go vintage, I think, you know what, you'll find something that you really love. Okay, so that's the 5 things that I wanted to talk to you about. But what I wanted to also say is, like, the combination of them 5 things is really important. I know there's other things that we can go into and really important, maybe just as important, if not more important. If you can think of them, please jot them in the comments section below. I'd love to talk to you guys about them. But I also wanted to mention to you guys is if you want to get an idea of somebody that's doing old money really well, in my personal opinion, have a look at the Ralph Lauren 2026 fashion show. It's great for inspiration, great for that combination of country look, that preppy look. Combine them together. Obviously Ralph Lauren, especially the purple label, use only quality materials. Everything drapes really well, looks fantastic. So that is a great place to start if you wanted to get some ideas together for getting that preppy look. So it's great for getting that old money look. So guys, all I'm saying is, if you really want to go down this route, and which is a fantastic look, I think, be consistent with it, and you will develop your own style. And you know, set up a mood board and put a few things together and see how they work. Check out some people who fall into that category. Again, important things like, don't wear things too tight, don't wear things overly baggy, wear things that are structured, wear things that are quality built. And if you guys like what we do here, if you guys like what we talk about on here, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, make your comments that you want to talk about underneath, and see you guys soon.